Hey guys, Spudknocker here, as always. And today we've got another one-on-one training session with a student who had just picked up the A-18C just a few weeks prior and needed some help going over his keybinds, how to get everything set up on his keyboard, his HOTAS, his rudder pedals, as well as setting up his VR headset, as well as just going over some basics of how to actually use DCS World, how to join a multiplayer server, how to edit things basically in the mission editor, how to go over options in DCS World, how to make sure the DCS World experience is smooth and streamlined so that way he could get to exactly what he wanted to do, which is of course flying the A-18C Hornet. Then we went over just a basic flight, how to cold start the Hornet, how to taxi, how to take off together, how to fly together to the target area, how to arm his bombs, do some delivery of dump bombs using the roll-in method in order to properly deliver those bombs on target on time. The flight home together, of course, how to selectively jettison drop tanks, how to plan and make a good approach and landing back at our home airport. It was a lot of fun. I think you got a lot out of it, and if you guys want one-on-one training with me, definitely consider becoming a patron. Anyone who donates $15 or more to the channel gets one-on-one training with me as a nice perk of helping to support the channel. Some channels give out t-shirts and mugs and other apparel. I like to do one-on-one training because I think that's a larger value add for you guys to help you guys get more out of the thing you love, and that is DCS World, of course. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and of course fly safe out there and stay healthy, guys. Is to get the jet at a level flight attitude, and then, you know, manipulate things one thing at a time. So if I need to change my page on my MFD or my DDIs, then just go ahead and change the page, you know, select the menu button, then recheck where you're flying the jet. Select the next button, then recheck where you're flying the jet. Always be coming back to flying the jet, because that's your most important thing. The manipulating the systems is the last thing that should be on your priority list.
Okay.
Also, we can turn on the autopilot. So the autopilot can really help reduce your workload. On the UFC, you have an A/P push tile. You can click that, and then that brings up the different autopilot modes that you can put the aircraft into. The most important mode is ATTH and BALT for attitude hold and barometric altitude hold. So you go ahead and put the jet into barometric altitude hold, and it will hold your current heading and your current altitude. And you know it's turned on when you have the little semicolon next to BALT.
Okay, yeah. Wow, that'll be handy.
Yep. Attitude hold is if you say you are have the jet rolled and you want to maintain that attitude to fly in, say, like a little holding orbit, or if you're nose up and you want the jet to continue nose up, like if you're doing a long steady climb or a long steady descent. So now that we have the jet back to where we want it to go, we're navigating, we can then start to work on arming our bombs again. So you're in air-to-ground mode, so I'll go ahead and put my jet into air-to-ground mode so that way I can match what you're doing. So we have the 83 Bravo selected. Now on the mode button, that's on the top left OSB button on the left-hand DDI, we want to make sure that's in CCIP mode for constantly computed impact point mode.
On which DDI?
On the left.
On the left DDI. Okay.
See, in the top left it says mode.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yep, so click mode, select CCIP. That's the type of delivery method we're going to drop these bombs in, is CCIP mode.
Okay.
Next, where it says MFUZ for mechanical fuse, select nose. And then, where it says E-fuse, for the electrical fuse, select instant. So what that's doing is that's two different fuses that are in our weapons that will work redundantly to make sure the weapon explodes. Dumb bombs are notorious for duds, and so in a dumb bomb, weaponeers will usually put an electrical fuse and a mechanical fuse in there just to make sure that the bomb actually explodes. These things were all built during the late 1950s, for the most part, early 1960s, and have been in stockpiles ever since then. The U.S. hasn't actually built a new dumb bomb for many, many decades.
Did we
Cool.
pass our waypoint?
We did, and I'm okay with that since we were
Okay.
we were working on arming our bombs. So let's go ahead and push it up to waypoint 4. And that's going to be a pretty sharp turn to a heading of 150. So go ahead and make that turn either left or right. It's up to you.
To 150?
Yep.
Okay. Gonna go right.
Okay, go for it.
Do you want this to be a gradual turn?
Yeah, just a nice gradual turn. No need to pull any G's here. We're just navigating.
I'm afraid I've developed some bad habits.
Pulling too hard
Flying
all the
by
time.
myself.
Yeah.
I'm usually, everything is about pulling G's everywhere I go, so.
Yep, so just keep your velocity vector on the horizon line on your HUD, and you'll just make a nice level gradual turn to the right hand side. So what DCS doesn't model is how fatigued you'll get as a pilot pulling G's all the time,
Yeah.
as well as the fact that when you're pulling G's all the time, you reduce your energy state of your jet, right?
Yeah.
You're bleeding off airspeed all the time. And it's good to keep a high energy state when you're in a combat situation, so that way you have the energy to pull Gs when you need to, say, avoiding a stream of AAA. An interceptor comes at you and gets on your tail, or a SAM gets shot at you. All these kinds of things that can happen to you when you're flying in a combat zone, you need energy to defeat, right?
Yeah.
Cool. And we're at 150, but it looks like our waypoint, we'll actually bypass waypoint 4, and let's fly direct to waypoint 6. Or 5, I mean.
Okay. All right. I'll be coming left gradually.
Cool. And the symbology that's displayed on the HUD right now is the CCIP symbology. Do you see the vertical line coming out of the bottom of the velocity vector?
Uh-huh.
That's what you use to aim your bombs, essentially. And see how much altitude we dropped? Let's go ahead and climb back up to 20,000 feet.
Oh. Oh.
So you always want to be doing what's called an instrument scan. We're always scanning, looking at your airspeed and your altitude.
Yeah, I thought I had it on barometric altitude hold, and
If you make too sudden of a movement with the stick, it will kick off the autopilot. And so
Okay.
you made a pretty gradual turn, but you can't always trust it. You always have to be looking. Trusting
Yeah.
your autopilot has gotten many more pilots killed than autopilot manufacturers would like to admit. So for, like I said, so that vertical line coming out of the bottom of your velocity vector is what you're actually using to aim the bombs. Once you get down close enough to the target, you'll see a little plus symbol start to walk up the bottom of that vertical line. That vertical line is called the fall line, and that plus symbol is your aiming reticle. Now you aim, you bring the fall line over your target, and you keep flying until your plus symbol walks itself over your target. When it walks itself over your target, you then press the pickle button, the weapon release button, to drop your bomb, and away it goes to hit your target. It's very, very simple. It's the put the thing on the thing to blow up the thing method of dropping bombs.
gotcha. Okay.
Now, there's a very specific tactic you want to use when first learning how to drop dumb bombs. And that's called the roll-in maneuver. You want to actually roll into your target rather than just keeping the target under your nose and then pushing the nose down to get yourself aligned with the target. You want to fly offset to either the left or the right-hand side of your target. Wait until the target touches your canopy bow from your perspective. Roll over onto your back and pull positive G's down onto your target. You want to put that center mirror on the top of the canopy bow onto your target, then roll back wings level, get your fall line onto the target, press the pickle button when it's time, and then pull away from the target and get out of there. Does that make sense? I know that was a lot to throw at you.
Yeah, so you said roll over on your back, so am I inverting?
Yeah, you want to roll over inverted and then pull positive G's to get your nose down on the target. Once your nose is on the target, roll back wings level.
Okay.
The reason why we always pull positive G's is because A, it's more comfortable in your body, but B, more importantly, is if you inadvertently drop the bomb, if you're pushing the nose over, with pushing on the stick, you could potentially hit your own bomb and blow yourself up.
Wow, yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and come right a few degrees. Let's come right to about heading of 145 degrees, okay?
Okay.
And see that airport that's under our nose there? That's Damascus International Airport where those fires are.
Oh, wow.
Actually, let's keep coming right a little bit more. Let's come to 155 degrees. And so there's a bunch of aircraft down on the ramp area down there. There's some larger aircraft like IL-76s and things, so that will be very good targets for you to drop your bombs on. However, keep in mind there are some AAA units down there, so you don't want to get too low. Ideally, you want to try and get your bombs off by the time you get to an altitude of about 8,000 feet.
Wow, okay.
Yep.
So tell me when to do it.
Yep, so go ahead and we'll fly around the area a little bit here and pick yourself out a target.
So just looking out the window, pick one out.
Yep. Even
I'm gonna rock.
If you bomb a building if you want. Just find something that you can aim at.
Okay.
So we're directly over our target area right now, and that makes it really, really hard to engage targets. So we'll go ahead and continue extending on this heading away from the target area, and we'll fly back towards it.
Okay. Yeah, I found a target that I'd like to get.
Perfect. So let's go ahead and fly away from it. Otherwise, it'll be too difficult to actually get our bombs onto that target. The best dive angle for the F-18 to drop dumb bombs is about 35 degrees nose down.
Okay.
Yep. And you can see that very easily on your pitch ladder on your HUD.
You said 30 or 35?
30 to 35-ish, around there.
Okay.
Oh, too much, and you'll be too fast in your dive, and it'll be hard to pull out. Too little, and you won't get your CCIP cross to show up on the bottom of your fall line to actually get those bombs off.
What kind of speed is too fast or too slow?
Probably want to be higher than about 350. Probably looking good around 400 to 450 knots. Any higher than 500 is probably too fast.
Okay.
Although speed is life, so if being fast means you can survive the encounter, then by all means go as fast as you want to go. Just keep in mind that the faster you go, the lower your turn, or the larger your turn radius is going to be, so it makes it harder to pull away from the ground.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and come around to the left-hand side and turn a little sharper this time, and we'll come back to the target area, and let's try to drop a bomb on that target that you wanted.
Okay.
Try to make that turn as level as you can so we don't drop too much altitude. And if you need to plug those burners, definitely go for it. Build up a little bit of speed coming into the combat area. And then ideally what you want to do from the level of maintaining altitude, flight attitude, you want to wait till your target touches your canopy bow, roll over, put your mirror, your top mirror onto that target, pull down onto it, wings level, and drop your bomb as soon as possible.
Okay.
Yep. You're still pretty nose low, so bring that nose up a little bit. Perfect, good job. Make sure you're separated from the target a little bit. And go ahead and roll in whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Yep, then roll back, wings level. Nice, looking good. Try to get that fall line lined up with your target.
Yeah, it's kind of hidden by the smoke.
That's okay.
I'm gonna take a shot at it here.
Go for it.
I don't know if my bomb dropped or not.
Let me take a look. No bomb came off of your aircraft. Is your master arm turned on?
Yeah?
Master arm is on. Did you press the correct button?
I pressed the red button on my thumb.
Huh. That's weird. You don't have a dud queue, so you're good there. So once you pull off from a bomb run, you want to make sure you try to pull up and try to gain altitude. Get out of the range of any AAA that's down there.
Okay.
Yep. And you're flying over downtown Damascus. There's probably a lot of bad guys who want to shoot you over downtown Damascus.
I'll bomb them.
Yep.
Oh, I think I did drop a bomb, and I've got one on my left pylon.
Yep, you did. Looks like you did drop one. I didn't see one come off your jet. I'm not sure where it went, to be honest.
Huh.
It's all good. So go ahead and bring it back around towards the airport. And keep climbing up to back to about 20,000 feet if you can.
Okay. I'll try to pick something away from that smoke so I can maybe have an idea if I actually dropped or hit anything.
Yeah, that would work. Trying to get reformed back up with you here. Keep in mind that you don't want to lay on the afterburners too much because you're going to waste a lot of fuel in afterburner.
I wish there were detents or something that would tell me when I'm on afterburner. I know all the way forward is afterburner, but there's some point where you're on afterburner, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, and there is a way that I can set something up for you to make that work with your Warthog throttle. It's just a little bit more in depth, and so maybe we can do that in a second lesson.
Yeah. Good. Okay.
All right, you have a target picked out?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to come right here so I can lower my wing here and get a look.
Yeah, remember to offset yourself from the target area so that way you can see it.
Oh, yeah. That's why. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, the biggest building down there, I think I'll go for that.
Okay.
Here we go.
Go for it. Nice job. That looks good. Remember not to over-rotate. Try to get those wings level. There you go. Nice, he's coming down the chute. And make sure you let me know when you drop your bomb. Say pickle on the radio.
Pickle.
Alright, you got AAA after you come off right. Come off right. Pull up hard, come off right. There you go. Good job. Ooh, more AAA after us. Keep on the burners. Keep climbing. Keep climbing. Keep climbing. Nice job, dude. I was behind you the whole time, and so I could see the tracers coming up that were behind you because they were trying to.
Wow.
They were shooting at you, and the tracers were coming after me because they didn't lead you enough.
Oh man, I don't want to get you shot down.
Well, you're good. This is my job as the instructor to watch you.
Were you able to see if a bomb came off?
A bomb came off, and I did not see its impact point, but it looked like a good delivery.
Okay.
So one thing to watch out for when you're... Oh, where'd you go? Oh, there you are. So one thing to watch out for is when you're in the chute coming down, there's a line that starts off at the top of the fall line. It's another horizontal line that moves downwards. That's not your aiming reticle. That is telling you how long it's going to take until your aiming reticle comes back up. So now you're up into marking altitudes, you're contrailing. So go ahead and descend and come back around towards your target. You don't want to get into a situation where you're leaving a contrail behind you, because otherwise the bad guys can see that for miles and miles and miles away.
Yep, okay. At what altitude is that?
It's at the freezing level. So it can
vary?
It can vary quite a bit. Like if you're flying on a winter snowy day on the Caucasus Mountains map, that can be as low as around, 15 to 20,000 feet. If we're on a hot desert area like we are today, that can be at around, 30,000 feet like we just saw there. So go ahead and level off, fly it at this heading of 145, and pick out a target from that heading where you can see your target nice and easy, and then roll into it.
At the airport?
Yep.
Okay. You know what, I need to set up my zoom button because I can't see a whole lot without a zoom.
Okay. Just go after a building again. That's totally fine.
Okay. Coming down.
All right. I'm watching your stream this time so I can see it from the cockpit view. Looking real good. Go ahead and get those wings level as soon as you can. There you go. Perfect. There's your aiming reticle, that plus symbol. That's perfect. Got that over your building. Looking good, looking good.
Pickle.
And pickle, get out of there. Pull out hard and come off to the left or to the right to avoid that AAA. Make it as hard for those gunners as you possibly can.
I'm at bingo, by the way.
Okay. You just got, you got 2 bombs left, so you should be good to go. Go ahead and roll on in myself and drop a couple bombs. Alright, Pickle, 2 bombs away. That IL-76 is going to be gone. Alright, let's see if I can rejoin back up with you. So, the name of the game when employing weapons in DCS is patience. Patience, patience, patience. A lot of people will try to rush things, and so when you're pulling a lot of G's and you're rushing things, trying to get back to your target area quickly, you will be so close to the target that it's hard to pick out targets. It's hard to maneuver the jet properly to get a good dive on the target, to get a good weapons release. Because of the fact that you're just maneuvering directly over the top of the target area, it makes things move too fast. You can't get the jet in the right proper position, and things just go wrong. So do exactly what you're doing here. Give yourself some breathing room, fly out away from the target area, and never attack a target from the same heading twice, because the gunners are going to be waiting for you at that same heading you attacked last, right? So always attack that target from a different heading.
Sounds good.
Yep. So you should have plenty of separation here for a dumb bomb delivery. the cool thing is our target here, we have a waypoint right on top of it, so we can always see our distance away from the target area. So 10 miles is more than adequate when you're trying to deliver some dumb bombs. And with our fuel state where it is, try and attack 2 targets with 1 pass, but 2 presses the pickle button this time.
Okay.
You can see me as a little dot off your left there. Don't worry, I won't hit you. I'm just trying to reform up with you. Alright, I'm right off your right wing.
Oh, wow. Cool. Yeah, I thought I heard you.
Okay, so make sure you're flying off to the right-hand side of the target area, so that way we don't get directly on top of it.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring it down my left side.
Yep. Good heading, might be 095-ish around there.
Yep, I'm at 093.
Perfect. Just trying to give you the best. Try to make it as easy for you as I can. So see that ramp area? That is on the closest, next to that big fire?
Yep.
Drop your bombs on that ramp area. Those are where some aircraft are on the ramp.
Okay. I'll do it.
Perfect. And I'll follow you in, I'll drop my bombs, and then we'll be good to go. Nice job. Rolling back out, perfect. Next time we want to get a little bit closer for a little bit of a steeper dive angle, but it's all good. It's looking good.
Okay.
So see how we're only about 25-ish degrees of dive?
Yep.
Yep, that's okay. We can make it work. We just got to get a little bit closer to the ground and drop these bombs. I'm going to offset to your right-hand side so your bombs don't hit me. And get those bombs off. We're getting low.
Pickle.
Cool. I saw your 2 releases. My bombs are away, and I'm following you off to the left. You hear the RWR? Deedle deedle?
Yeah, I thought that was a master alarm for fuel or something.
No, that dee-doo, that's the AAA down there trying to get a lock on us.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
Oh, okay.
I'm certain what I heard was a master caution for fuel.
Oh, you might not have had your RWR on, so that's my bad. I should have checked that. So let's go ahead and come towards waypoint 6. So that's going to be behind us.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll make a 180 turn.
All right. I'm going to come right.
Okay. And we can go ahead and level off whenever you're ready. Coming through 21,000 feet. Yeah, so with the Warthog throttle, there is definitely a way to do an afterburner detent that works fantastically and will save you a ton of gas, but it's something that we'll have to do together outside of DCS, so we'll definitely do that another time, but I want to make it work for you.
No problem. Is that like, generally speaking, would you say it's like the last inch?
Yeah, it's like the last inch of travel is the afterburner detent. And then you have to do some things in the DCS settings with the way that your throttle works to make it actually work within the game as well. So let's go ahead and bypass waypoint 6. We're going to fly direct to waypoint 7.
Okay.
It's going to be 77 miles off of our nose. What's your airspeed?
I'm at 430.
All right. Go ahead and bring that down to about 400, and I'll be able to catch up with you.
Okay.
Springfield 1-3, Overlord 1-1, Bra 0-6.
And do you know how to jettison external fuel tanks? Or anything?
I think I do. I've never done it, but I think I do.
Okay, let's go ahead and jettison these external fuel tanks just for the practice of it.
Okay.
Describe to me your method though, so I can teach you a better method if you're gonna do what I think you're gonna do.
Well, I was just thinking it would be selective jettison.
Yep.
And then rotate to.
Yeah. So, on the jettison station select panel, which is just to the left of the IFE, you want to select the stations that we have fuel tanks on currently. So that's going to be the center line station, the LI, and the RI station. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, center, LI, and RI.
Yep, center, LI, RI. And then on the select jettison panel, you want to rotate the outside ring to the furthest right-hand position labeled stores.
Okay,
and then once you have it there and your master arm is armed, you can go ahead and press the jet button, and away your tanks will fall.
Okay, here they go.
And there they go. Nice job.
Hope nobody's down there.
And we'll just land in the desert with a bunch of other Israeli tanks that have been down there for a while. And there you go. That's how you selectively jettison. So the stores position there is how you jettison any kind of stores that you want to get rid of selectively. So say you've got a hung bomb, or you got a hung air-to-air missile or something like that. However, in order to jettison the air-to-air missiles that are on your cheek stations, on to the left and right of the fuselage, where our AMRAMs are set, when they need to be either in the R-fuse missile position or in the L-fuse missile position for left fuselage missile position and right fuselage missile position. And that is so that way you can selectively jettison missiles away there. So say if you had a real emergency and you didn't want anything explosive or anything that's going to catch fire like rocket fuel or warhead, and you're going to make an emergency landing, time to get rid of those things.
Okay.
For instance, in the Gulf War in 1991, there was a Marine Corps Hornet who was carrying a Sparrow on those cheek stations, and the Sparrow got hit by a shrapnel from AAA, and the rocket motor of the Sparrow actually fired while it was still on the rack. So we had to very quickly jettison that Sparrow off of his jet.
Wow.
Yeah. So things like that can be why you would want to jettison something selectively like that. So whenever I fly into combat, so it's good practice not to just drop your drop tanks willy-nilly, because Squadron will only deploy with so many, and they cost taxpayer dollars, right? And they're hard to transport because they're big and fat. So you don't want to just drop tanks willy-nilly, but when I fly into combat in the Hornet, because it kind of is this kind of slow jet, I always have my stations on my selective jettison panel already pre-selected when I fence in, so that way I can very quickly and easily get rid of my fuel tanks in case I run into a situation where I need to get rid of them quickly. Like say if I get jumped by interceptors or get fired on by a high-numbered SAM, something like that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Springfield 1-3, Overlord.
And so, now, we're at 20,000 feet, and we're 40 nautical miles out from a lineup point for our runway. So the runway is going to be at waypoint 8, and it's going to be runway, I believe it's 3-3, let me double check that. Runway is number 3-1, actually, so it's going to mean the runway is at a heading of 310 degrees. Do you know how to place a course line on your HSI?
No.
Okay, so go ahead and pull up your HSI page on one of your screens. Doesn't matter which one.
Okay, got it.
Cool. And then let's go ahead and select waypoint 8, our runway waypoint.
Got it.
All right, and now on the top right of the NPCD, there's a little like looks like a silver metallic switch that's labeled CRS for course. Do you see it? It's kind of got.
Where is it again?
So the
Oh yeah, I found it.
Yeah, so go ahead and press and hold that. And then on your UFC, you're going to see a option on the ODU labeled CSEL. You want to click that really quickly and enter it in the heading 310 and enter on your UFC, and that will place the course line at 310 degrees. Perfect, good job. And so that line is representing a course line, or in other words, a radial. A radial is just a line that's imaginary, drawn in space and time, that just extends out to infinity from a point. And so that's what we've drawn on our HSI here. If we intercept and fly this line, it will take us directly to the runway at the correct heading and on correct course to land on the runway. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool. And so now we can go, since we're coming in towards our airport here, we can go ahead and start to go nose down into a gentle 5-degree descent, coming down towards pattern altitude. So like I said, we're back to flying gently and precisely. And we'll go ahead and fence out. So I'm going to go master arm to safe, and going to go back to navigation master mode by coming out of the ground mode. You can return your radar back to air-to-air mode if you so wish by pressing the second from the top OSB button on the left-hand side of your radar page. If you look off to your right-hand side at your roughly about 5 o'clock, you can actually see the airport.
How far out?
It's pretty far out. I might not be able to see it in VR. It's about 14 nautical miles out.
Okay.
So as we're descending here, we're going to keep on coming down, 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 and then what we'll do is we'll do what's called a teardrop entry into the course line. And so we're going to fly over the top of the course line, and we're going to make a left-hand, almost 270-degree turn to bring us back onto the course line.
Okay.
On the scale button in the top center OSB on your HSI, you can zoom in the scale, so that way you can see a zoomed-in picture of how close we are to the course line.
Oh yeah, okay. About 5 miles or a little less?
Yeah, a little less. So we'll go ahead and start descending a little bit quicker. Bring the nose down to about 7.5 degrees nose down. The airport is at an elevation of 2,200 feet. So we'll descend to about 4,000 feet for our pattern altitude for today. Do you want to do a straight-in approach to landing, or do you want to do a break to landing?
Do a what?
Do you want to do a straight-in approach, where we just fly straight to the runway and land, or do you want to do a break turn, where we fly over the runway and enter the traffic pattern with a break?
Whatever's the quickest. I like a quick one.
Okay. The quickest is going to be the break turn. That's a little bit more involved with things to learn. A straight-in approach is just slow the airplane down, fly straight to the runway, and land on the runway. So now that we've crossed the course line,
landing. Huh?
So we've crossed the course line now. Let's go ahead and make that left-hand 270-degree turn to re-intercept the course line. Keep that descent coming down to about 4,000 feet. Keep that turn coming until you fly directly on that course line. So we'll just do a straight-in approach for landing for today, and then for our next lesson, that's when we'll do the, we'll talk about the actual procedure for a brake. And so make sure you're flying directly on that line, and that should bring us to a heading of about 310 degrees. So that's the course line that we entered. And then once we get within 10 nautical miles of the airport, that's when we'll slow the airplane down and start to dirty up for the landing. When you actually touch down at the airport, your nose wheel steering will automatically be turned on. And you just want to be very careful with your rudders, so that way you don't go screeching right off the runway.
I've done that a few times. I did it today, actually, so...
Yeah, you just got to be careful and easy with it on the touchdown. Make sure you're flying at about 4,000 feet. Looks like you're getting a little bit low.
Yep.
And you can go ahead and start to dirty up for the landing.
I forgot what that was. Gear down, flaps and stuff? Or...
Yep. Gear down, flaps to full. Want to be at under about 250 knots to actually bring the gear down. And the runway is right out there in front of us, so come left just slightly. We're a little bit left to the right side of the course line. And you can...
Which runway is it? I see two.
Yeah, so the one on the left is a taxiway. The one on the right is the runway.
Okay.
You can see a rabbit in the precision approach lighting system coming back and forth. That denotes where the runway is. It's that light that's going back and forth. And so what you want to do at this point is, now that you're dirtied up, you want to keep slowing the airplane down, and the key is to get down to about 140 knots for the landing. You want to start bringing in some nose up trim. Don't let those flaps balloon you up.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, you got to really push the stick forward a little bit when you bring in those flaps. Don't want to get too slow. Want to go for about 140 knots. Once you start to get down to that low airspeed, you can then start to bring in that nose up trim to make sure that your velocity vector is inside that E bracket. And then you just want to place your velocity vector right on top of where you want to touch down on the runway, and then just fly the airplane to keep that velocity vector right there for a nice gentle touchdown. Keep that descent coming. You're a little high, it looks like. To reduce your altitude, increase that rate of descent, just pull out the throttle just a hair. And to decrease the rate of descent, just bring in a little bit more throttle. Just a little bit of turbulence down low here as the winds start to shift just slightly. Just keep that velocity vector right where you want to touch down. Nice and easy with it, nice and gentle. I'm flying right off your wing here, bringing you right on down to the runway. Nice and easy, nice and gentle. Looking real good. Nice, nice, nice. Looking good. Good touchdown. Real good. and just keep those rudder pedals nice and centered, nice and easy on the rudder pedals, and put out that speed brake and slow yourself down, and start to get on those toe brakes. Nice job, man. That was great. That feel good?
Yeah, it felt pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
It wasn't pretty, but got me down.
Looked pretty good from my perspective. Alright, I'll bring it on around real quick and I'll get the aircraft down on the ground. Biggest thing in the F-18, once you touch down, pop out that speed brake. Get the jet slowed down as quickly as possible. And that will keep you from accidentally skirting off of the runway with that nose wheel steering that automatically turns on.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
Yep. That was actually something that killed an F-14 Tomcat pilot when he switched over to the F-18. It was actually one of the guys who shot down one of the Libyan floggers in the Gulf of Sidra incident. He got moved over to fly the F-18. He came in and he wasn't used to that nose wheel steering popping right on. It's a bit of a crosswind landing, and he just went right off the runway. The jet flipped and it killed him. So it's something that you really got to be careful with in the Hornet, both in simulators and in real life. The reason why the aircraft is coded to do that is because if you're on a carrier, you want that nose wheel steering turned right on, so that way you can get off of the deck landing area as quickly and expeditiously as possible.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Alright, so I'm coming in for a landing. I'm on turning base to final right now. And that was a bit of a crosswind landing. So did you see how the velocity vector and the pitch ladder weren't necessarily centered up in your HUD?
Yeah.
For that landing? So that's showing you the wind correction you got to make. You got to just fly that velocity vector, keep that velocity vector on the touchdown point you want, and then that way you'll be able to just keep the airplane on course for a good landing, even with the crosswind.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. And I'm on the ground, watching out for that nose wheel steering. Popping out my speed brake right away. And there's your lesson, dude. I hope you liked it.
I loved it.
That's awesome.
That was
man.
awesome. Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, thanks for supporting the channel. That's super awesome, and I really, really, really appreciate it. And
well, I'm a huge fan of your videos. I've watched every one of them. I'm still trying to learn from them, and I watch them over and over. But I'm a slow learner. So
well, you caught on pretty well today. You flew really, really well, and I really like how you flew. I really like how gentle you were with the airplane, how precise you were with the airplane, and you listened and were able to be coached really easily, which is awesome. So that's you definitely got a lot of fun in DCS World coming your way, man.